Okay.
I don't think really, I'm not going to live on Zerana. It's not that, it's just too many things.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
well, die eigen glossing keizer. Panergan word, it does affect. Aging will affect, yeah. So we should. Yeah. Hey, Rahmet Sek.
What's also how your body changes as you exercise. Asang lakhkad is how
Yeah.
your body, and then when you exercise,
It doesn't, yeah, definitely.
it becomes buff.
Yeah, right, yeah. It gashidagna. I don't know what the right word is.
I don't know.
Okay.
The before and after.
Okay. Did you check it? Huh? You sent it? Perfect. Let me just do it right now so I can remember. Soon it's working? Good.
But
Okay.
you enjoy it, but it's high maintenance. In Ziama, to go every 2 weeks, going to be there to fill in. But it's fun. They're willing to spend the time, the money on it. Exactly. So everybody's different.
Okay.
Hey, Vasquez. I know.
I'm not procrastinating.
I'm not procrastinating. I'm doing
Side
side quests.
It's a video game reference.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
We get it. I saw it and I started laughing.
You do something at home, like homework, but then you start doing other tasks that
You have to
be
study
done.
for a test. No, I need to clean my room.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, multitasking. Okay, let's get started. If you have a chance, you can grab the handout there. I've done some things. I was telling Vilja, I didn't know what to give you. I wanted you to walk home with something. But at the same time, I didn't know what, because Samuel and I actually are working together. We're trying to put everything online. So we want everything to be accessible online so you can access it there, because you're not going to remember. 95% of what I'm going to say today, you won't remember. It's saved online, but I'm going to make sure you remember one thing the most, and I'll make sure I'll repeat that multiple times throughout the entire workshop. So I think it's really important to keep that in mind. So real quick, just because we're talking about something like fitness, fitness and aging The body changes. What are we talking about? Why are we talking about this? Why am I talking about this? So real quick, my beautiful family. Let me give that. But why fitness? So fitness has a lot to do with what's going on in science. Researching the way your muscle grows, the way it doesn't grow, and the impact that every type of exercise will have on you. Types of exercises matter, what you do with your body, and we'll talk about this later too, your diet, your sleep habits, everything has to do with the way that your muscles will grow and the way that your exercise will be efficient or not. So it's important to be able to get that understanding. What did I do? I did clinical psychology. What do I have to do with that? Well, I learned how to read those research papers. And I have over 250 research papers I went through and just gathered all the data. And I'm giving it to you in a way that you can have it accessible and apply it to your life so that you get the best of what people are saying is working right now, as recently as possible. So that's kind of the idea of what we're doing and why I'm venturing out to the fitness part of what we're going through. So let's talk immediately about the aging process. I think that's the most important thing. That's why we're all here. What is it about our body that we go through when we age? What happens to us? The number one thing when we're talking about fitness that people will probably remember or keep in mind is sarcopenia. Sarcopenia. Oh, there is childcare if you want. Yeah. Sarcopenia is a Latin word for your muscle starts to break down. This is very common. This starts as early as the age of 30. When you hit the age of 30, sarcopenia kicks in. So one wonders how old are we supposed to get? In reality, if by the age of 30 your muscles start to break down. But the numbers say otherwise. It takes about 10 years for you to lose 1% of your muscle mass. So it's not too much. If you're thinking about your entire muscle mass, 10 years, 3,600 days for you to lose only 1%, right? So from your 30s to your 50s, that's how it is. So that's how much you'll lose sarcopenia. When you hit 50, it accelerates. It almost increases by 10 times. So it goes from your 50s to your 70s, you start to lose 1 to 2% every year. So now it starts to kick up, and your muscles, you're just going to start losing it. And then when you hit your 70s, it's 3 to 4% every year. So now it really kicks up, and they don't keep track of it after that. So once you're over 70, about 3 to 4% of your muscle mass every single year just kind of disappears. The other thing that happens is your hormones. The other thing that's really important for your body is your hormones, especially for muscle building. The main hormone that we use for muscle building is actually a steroid. There's a steroid in our body. It is it's produced by our body, right? The term is endogenous. There we go. I always forget that word. Endogenous, androgenic, which means it's male specific, but even females have it, and that is testosterone. Testosterone is the main hormone for muscle building. It's anabolic, they'll say, the term is, because it builds muscles. And your testosterone, it increases a lot when you get to puberty, and this is, we're talking about early teens, right? So boys and girls both have testosterone. They start off with testosterone in their bodies. Up until the age of around 10, we have about 30 I think it's called nanodecimals, the word nanogram per deciliter. Is the actual term that you get of the amount of testosterone in your body. For girls, it's about 30. For boys, it's about 25 to 30. Once puberty hits, that number increases for girls up to about 70, more than double. For boys, it increases by 10 to 40 times. Of course, boys have a lot more. So that goes up from about to 200 to 1,200 nanograms per deciliter of testosterone in their body. So lots of testosterone, and it kicks up. However, when we age, around 50, right? Women experience menopause, men experience andropause. Our hormones decline, they stop producing as much. For testosterone, the number, again, it starts at around 30. We lose about 1% production from the age of 30 every single year. We just produce less. So just the first two, sarcopenia, you lose muscles. Testosterone dropping, you don't build muscles as quickly as you used to. So Right there, those are the core of what aging will do to your body. Your muscles will disappear and won't come back as quickly as they should. The other impacts, all the things that happen because of these two, you experience bone loss, so bone density decreases, it becomes easier to break bones. Collagen in your joints, especially making up your ligaments and your tendons, it starts to weaken. It doesn't disappear, it just becomes not as effective. It's not as flexible. It starts to get rigid. So you're not as flexible because of that. You don't have as much of that flexibility that you used to have earlier on in your life. The other things, your digestion slows down, and this happens for different reasons. I kind of mentioned this earlier with our memory, our cognition. It just slows. It just starts to slow down right at around the age of 35. At around the age of 25, it's said that our brain is fully developed, and we have about less than 10 years of a fully developed brain, and it starts to decline, and it starts to get weaker at that point. It just slows down. It doesn't do it. You don't lose as much brain mass. You're not able to keep up as much as you could, and that accelerates, of course, as we age. And then a few of the other things that we get, let me see. The digestion slows down, I already mentioned that, yeah, and collagen breaks down. Yeah, okay, so that was it. However, the biggest problem is that we overlook the last part. What actually happens and what actually is causing the worst amount of muscle loss and the way we feel overall, it doesn't matter how much muscle you lose, ultimately it's how you feel. If you feel good in your body, great, you're doing something right. But if you're aging and you don't feel good in your body, something's limiting you. Now we have to assume also there's not a major injury, there's not a significant something that I'm pointing to some sort of damage that's happened. But just overall, I don't feel like I can be able to move the way I want to move. The main reason is behavior. Behavior is the number one reason. Disuse causes more muscle loss than sarcopenia and testosterone drop combined. Overall, not using your muscles will lose more than just normal aspect of aging. For that reason, on the flip side, basic exercising is enough to reverse the effects of aging. What am I saying by basic exercising? I'll be more specific about it when I get there. Here's the number, just so you have something you're landing on. 1 hour, what do you think I'm going to say?
Per week. Per day.
Per week. 1 hour per week has been proven to show a significant improvement in your health. That's it. 1 hour per week. Very easy. You probably already did it. You're done. Well, it's Friday. We're done with it. You're going to start again. But the idea is that there's a very simple entry point to just taking care of your body in a way that you'll feel the benefits of exercise. And the way I'm going to lean into it, so I'm going to be really landing on this behavior change. We're going to try to introduce behavior change in some way, and we're going to land on what's called resistance training. Or you may see it, or other people will say it as lifting weights, right? Working out. And because the reason that it's easily accessible, you can find ways to do it, it'll be fine. And I'm going to introduce a bunch of those ways so that you can find the best one for you. But real quick, I thought it'd be fun to just let me show you with emojis what this looks like. Okay, real quick. So imagine you're in your early teens, right? Everything is going perfectly fine. Your body is developing, you're learning how to work, right? The top one. You're learning how to move. Maybe you joined a high school team for sports, whatever it is. Your body's on your side, so overall you feel great. And then you start getting older, maybe in college, you continue that and it just feels better, and you're feeling better overall. Everything's increasing overall. You're learning more how to move your body accordingly, right? And let's say this is an athlete now, okay? Let's say this is an athlete. So this athlete, after college, they go into their early 20s, their body continues to improve. You're not reaching your peak yet. Your peak comes more in the mid-20s and late 30s. This is when your peak hits. You feel good. And ideally, as an athlete, the behavior's there. You're doing all the right things. You know how to exercise. It's been over a decade. You know what you're supposed to do to take care of your body. So you are feeling fantastic, right? This is the way ideally an athlete will be able to feel it. And they'll continue, but their body starts to rebel in their late 30s. They'll be saying, okay, it's starting to go downhill. I'm not liking this anymore. But because you have the behavior, you feel fine. Everything's going well. In your 40s, your body's not really liking it that much anymore, but you're still okay. 50s, your body's like, come on, we're done. But you're still doing what you are used to doing, right? You're taking care of your body the way you are, and then even when you get into your 70s, your body's just very upset. But because you've set up a discipline for yourself, you are able to function within the norms of taking care of you feel good. Okay, well, what about the normal person? What happens here? This is, I would assume, all of us in here. Same idea. We start off the same way. Maybe many of us were star athletes in high school, right? We were the best on the soccer team, maybe that went on to college. We did whatever we did, right? And then some of us, maybe by college, we're already saying, okay, I'm done. I'm here to study. I'm not going to do any sport. But maybe some of us continue in college. Okay, let's just say that happened. Well, once you graduate, okay, now you're really done. You're not going to join a semi-pro team. Like that's where you drop off. And so behavior drops off. And I put this face because it's kind of like you might find yourself in the gym sometimes, and then sometimes you just blow it off because why? There's no reason for me to be there. So it's kind of, I don't know what you're not really doing what you're supposed to be doing consistently. And now your body's hitting its peak, but because your behavior is meh, you're okay. You're not feeling it. You may be doing nothing different, and you may be feeling good still. Because why? Your body is still fine. It's not rebelling yet. Well, it starts to weaken. You're still okay, right? Getting out of bed's fine. Getting out of cars are fine. Going for walks. Maybe you start to play with some people. Maybe, what? Oh, we'll talk about that soon. A friend will call you up and say, hey, let's do a pickup game of whatever, and you join them, and you feel great. You come back to your spouse, and you tell them, man, I was on fire. I couldn't miss. Nobody could tackle me. Whatever it is. You still feel good. You still feel good. Well, what happens when your body is officially dropping off the cliff? Now you don't feel so good. Getting out of the car? Ask the older people. Getting out of the car becomes a chore. And you have to get the right kind of car. You complain to your grandchild that they got the car that's too low to the ground and I can't get out of it properly, right? So this is when you start to notice those basic things that you used to be able to do, and suddenly your knee is making 3 different sounds when you bend down to pick something up, right? And your back has 4 different locations that stops at until you're able to fully stand up, right? This is why, because we've shut off the behavior, and now that the body's kicking in, you can't keep up anymore. You've already taught your body, I can't do any of these things. And the most basic things become impossible, become chores. And so we head off to the 70s, and we're just crying, and it's all miserable. So what I want to introduce to you is a lifestyle change. In as much as it's important to sleep, which I'll talk about that soon, in as much as it's important to eat. These are 2 things that physiologically we never skip. Why? Because it's become part of our life. Exercise needs to be in that top 3. Not number 3, tied for the top 3. Eating, sleeping, exercise. It needs to be a natural part of our life. It should just be a normal thing that I'm exercising, and I gave you a very low bar. 1 hour a week. That's it. 15 minutes, 4 days a week. 30 minutes, 2 exercises per day, 2 days a week. Very easy to be able to, and then to maintain that. And what I'm introducing is for the rest of your life. This isn't a seasonal thing. Let's try it for 3 weeks and see what happens. This is, I'm going to do this until I am dead. Literally, this is the way. So when your doctor asks you, doctors, when you ask your patients, do you exercise? Yes, because it's part of my daily routine. It is what I do. I eat, I sleep, I exercise. It is who I am. So let me give you a few tips of that. Simple rules to keep in mind. We don't have to think of this in a short term. It's a long-term change. So don't think of these ways like we're trying to make goals and we're trying to reach things. Oh my goodness, it's impossible to get there. Don't. Small. Start off small. When you see the paper, the handout I gave you, the first one I give you is 15 minutes twice a week. 15 minutes is very straightforward, very easy. If that's too hard, cut out one exercise. Just get going. Get your heart rate up a little bit. Get something going. I'm going to show you some stuff here that we can do. The changes. So some of us, maybe we get excited about it. And we're like, ooh, I can hardly wait. And maybe you set a goal. When I started exercising again officially, this was over 2 years ago, I had never been able to lift 225 pounds with the bench press. Never did. As a kid, in high school, college, I skipped bench. I never could figure it out. The bench press, just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it at all, so I set a goal. And I hit that goal a few months ago. And I'm like, great, that's good. It took me 2 years to get there. 2 years, well, if you add the rest of my life, 40 years. It took me 40 years to get there. And that's it, that's okay. There's no rush in what you're doing. It's the same as you're eating food. You don't have these immediate goals that you're setting for yourself. I need to eat this many hot dogs by the time I'm dead. No, that doesn't matter. You just enjoy what you're doing. Exercise should be one of those things that we incorporate into our life. As I said before, disuse is much worse than what your body goes through. Not using your muscles is way worse than what you're going to experience as you start aging. Poor diet affects your exercise. So if you don't eat right, your exercise is not as effective. Okay, so this becomes relevant. I was thinking maybe this could be a part 2. Maybe someone else could take over, someone that's more qualified than I am. But the idea of diet is very important. The thing that happens when you start exercising, though, you're going to start paying attention to your diet a little bit more. You're going to start paying, am I eating enough protein? Is my carb intake appropriate? Is my fat dropping? What am I doing so that I can make sure that I'm getting the appropriate amount of sugar? You're going to pay attention to those things. So poor diet, though, affects how much fitness actually helps you. Same thing with sleep. Sleep is actually one of the most important impacts, has the most important impact on your body. I gave you the number before. You lose 1% testosterone buildup or production from 30 up until your andropause, when it completely drops off a cliff, right? 1% per year. So about 20 years, takes about 20 years for you about 20% drop. If you get 4 hours of sleep, okay, they did a study. They gave 4 hours of sleep for 2 weeks to people. Their testosterone production dropped 20 to 30%. 4 hours. We're not even talking about, oh, I stayed up for 14 days straight. That's ridiculous. You can't do that. 4 hours. But I'm sure some of us have looked back and be like, oh my goodness, I've slept for 4 hours multiple times, and it can easily, well, the job also, I mean, it's not going to help in the kids. So it's 4 hours for 2 weeks. You lose about 20 to 30%. One of the most important anabolic hormones that you have for muscle production, it's gone. Your body's just not going to. Sleep is so important.
4 hours per night?
Per night, yeah. That was 4 hours per night that they were saying.
How bad is it for 5 years, 7 years?
Let's multiply it 160%. I don't know. No, I don't. It's not good, I'm sure. This was the study, so I'm sure if you keep that going, it's not going to be healthy. It's not going to be helpful for you. I would encourage some sleep. I brought up resistance training, working out, lifting weights. I'm going to explain why this is the method I choose and why I'm going to teach it to you. I'll explain why. I have another slide on it, but resistance training is sufficient. You don't need to raise your heart rate up. It's not talking about heart rate. You don't have to get to a certain point. You don't have to run this many miles. You don't have to do this many things. You don't have to push this many boulders. Like, none of that matters. You just have to do specific exercise to specific muscles, and resistance training takes care of that. Okay? So I'm going to explain why a little bit more, but that's a really important one that we get understanding of. And then the final one to keep in mind, final one to keep in mind, just putting it all together, sleeping, eating, priority, but then combined with weight lift, that's all you need. Pay attention to your eating, pay attention to your sleep, and incorporate some level of exercise. And that's all you have to do. That's it. Very minimum. 1 hour a week. Does that sound reasonable? That's not horrible, right? That's not horrible. That's not horrible. It's a start. Okay, so let's talk about exercise itself. I'll give a few pointers that we can just keep in mind. Appetite, it helps with appetite. The hormones that get released when you start to exercise are necessary to curb your appetite. If you're a muncher, you want to eat a lot of stuff. If you have certain types of exercise, ideally, you start eating the proper food, but it'll actually curb, you'll want to eat less. And at times, the way that you eat, it releases a hormone so you recognize when you're supposed to be eating, so that it's not something that you're just doing all the way throughout the day, but you can time it with the exercise that you're incorporating. Boosting your mood. Mood is really important, right? This is something, as mental health professionals, one of the top ways I encourage people to take care of, especially something like depression, exercise. Go for a jog, lift some weights, do something that moves your body, because it's going to improve your mood and take care of what way you're supposed to do, be able to function throughout the day. Sleep, we talked about that. Going to bed after 8 hours of doing desk work, and you're kind of like crunching, you're writing papers, whatever you're doing, it's different than if you're doing 8 hours of physical exercise, right? And we're not talking about doing 8 hours of physical exercise, we're just talking about 30 minutes here, an hour. So introducing that just enough, it has ways of being able to improve your circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm, of course, is what reminds your body that it's time for nanai. I need to go to bed. The brain kicks in, and you start to want to sleep. Exercise is able to regulate that a lot more for yourself, especially when you have it consistently, exercising at the same time. And all of this is to reduce chronic diseases. Now, have you noticed anything about the first three? The first three are all related to chronic diseases, right? Appetite, diabetes, mood, depression, sleep, lots of different things that get affected when you don't have proper sleep. So you're going to overall have a better feeling of your body. And this is where that main study came out. If you work out for an hour a week, you have the number that came, I don't know how they came up with this number specifically, but I thought it was an impressive number. You reduce the prevalence of chronic disease by 30%. So if the bare minimum, I just want to feel good about my body's resilience against diseases, exercise. 1 hour a week, you're going to reduce it by 30%. All the things that could negatively impact your body. Make sense? Okay, so why weightlifting? So weightlifting, I brought up, I mentioned it several times, because it's something that as we begin to find ways, and honestly, for me, I can't go for runs. It just, I cannot, it hurts my knees. I don't want to go outside and like in the middle of the day when it's really hot. I wanted to find different ways of doing, I would love to swim. I don't have a pool that I can do left. There's lots of different things that you can come up with because it's hard to do all those other things. Weightlifting has an ease to enter. You can do it at home. And what we're going to introduce on one of the exercises, you can do it with your body weight. Gravity is a sufficient amount of resistance for many of us for many of the exercises that we may do. And so it's important to keep that in mind that I can do it anywhere. I can wake up and I can go next to my bed and do my exercises and be done for the rest of the day. But if you have access to the equipment, right, it becomes easier. And it takes care of one of the, I said risks, but this is kind of like the drawback, the difficulties with it. It's a lot easier to be able to have equipment to be able to take care of it, but if you don't have it, it's hard. I'm going to talk about it again. Downstairs, we have created a gym. We have a gym for everyone's access that you can be able to use. And when we were getting equipment at the beginning, it was hard to exercise in that gym. You don't have the equipment, you can't do it. Now, it's a lot easier. There's a lot of equipment there. We have access to many things. So one of the drawbacks, it can be taken care of if you have access to a gym accordingly. It's efficient. You can be in and out within 30 minutes. That's the whole point. You can be quick. And if you're not doing something overly exerting where you're not sweating a ton, you can include it in the middle of your day. And you can just do it real quick and then be back on whatever business or job or whatever you need to do so you can take care of whatever it is that you want to take care of. And so it doesn't have to dislodge you from your schedule completely just because you want to get a quick exercise in. The biggest problem, though, is what I've hopefully been hammering home. You have to be consistent. You have to be consistent. You have to keep at it. You have to keep doing it like that for the rest of your life. This is it. You eat, you sleep, you exercise. This is the way that you live from now on because you want to take care of your body accordingly. So you have to be consistent. Now, what am I saying? Have I worked out for 5 days a week for the last 2 years and never missed a day? No, it's not true. I've taken weeks off. I've taken breaks. I take weekends off. There's times, this morning actually, I had too much to do in preparing for this and doing my job and doing something else that I was doing with Garnet. I couldn't get to my exercise today. So I didn't do it. That's it. That's okay. I skipped today. I'll be back on it on Monday. Maybe I'll try to do it tomorrow. We'll see. But the idea is that consistency is key. You got to keep doing it. It has to be part of your daily work. If you skip a day, it's okay. That's fine. But the most important thing is making sure that you can stick to it. Along with the muscles, you help your bones. So when our bones start to degrade as well as we age, they start to weaken. If you're a person that regularly lifts weights, you will not experience the same type of bone loss anyone else would at your age. It's just the way your anatomy works. The way muscles are built, the idea is you're creating little tears in your muscles. You're not injuring them, of course, but what you're doing is you're kind of calling these, they're called micro tears, and you're creating these micro injuries so that your body recognizes, I need to fix it. And so it goes in and it fixes it. It makes it thicker. It makes it bigger. It makes it stronger. It makes it longer. Same thing happens to your bones. If you've ever broken your bone, what does the doctor tell you about when it heals? It's going to come back stronger than ever, right? That's the way bones work. Same idea. If you're putting strain on them, it's gonna when it's rested, when it's rebuilt, it's gonna be stronger than it was before. So you can rebuild those bones in a way. But at the same time, it also causes joint damage. So you gotta be careful. You have to also balance it with rest. You have to be cautious with how much you're doing, and that's why it's important to be able to do that. And if you notice on your papers, every single week you're gonna have rest in some way. I disagree with the 7 days exercise, especially if we're trying to prioritize exercise while we're aging and something that we can incorporate into our lives. So I wanted to make sure that's something accessible. So almost every single weekend there's rest. The beginner, there's more rest all the way throughout the weeks itself. So rest is really important. Rest is also when you recover. So it's really important to be able to take those rests. Any questions so far? I know I've kind of bulldozed through this because I wanted to get to kind of examples. Yes?
You talked about how, like, with aging, there's less collagen, less testosterone. I know typically with this subject matter it kind of varies, but what about people who take like collagen supplements and stuff like that?
Good question.
Is it if they have poor behavior, is it kind of irrelevant, or like for example, let's say they're a star athlete and they're taking collagen, or
Yeah.
something like that?
Great question. So he's asking if because there's a reduction in collagen, reduction in testosterone, especially as you're aging, but if you're taking supplements, does that help you? Does that make it? And it does. And you should check with your doctor because some people's hormone changes are more than others. At the same time, some people's hormone change impacts them differently. Maybe the reduction is the same, but just that drop in hormones is going to impact that person way differently than it does others. So complementing good behavior with a supplement is never a bad idea, especially if your doctor thinks that, like, oh yeah, your numbers are a lot lower than they should be. So there's nothing wrong with kind of implementing both at the same time. Great question. Anything else? Any other ones before we go on? Okay, so let me introduce the exercise. I gave you a list of exercises. Now for you, you're looking at it maybe and you're just seeing so if you turn the front page and look at the back of the front page, you'll see a list of exercises. By the time I'm done, I did not time it right, even though I've been working on this for months. I did not time it right. Eventually, we will have that list on the church website. You can go and you can click on one of the exercises. You will see photos of the exercises themselves, start and end points, and a video of somebody doing the exercise. So you should have access to all that, so you should be able to know exactly how to do it and what it is that it's telling you to do. Okay, so that's the goal. So let's say you see the exercise, and you're like, okay, this is the exercise I want to do. For whatever reason, you pick whatever exercise you pick, and you say, this is the exercise I want to do. I'm going to introduce you the idea of doing the squat. Who can do a squat in here? Does anyone know what a squat is? Okay, good. So when we squat, why am I picking the squat? You all just did one. You sat down, right? The squat is you sitting down. Now, there's another part to that squat that makes it hard. Huh?
No chair. Without chair.
Well, yeah, but still, the idea is there. The motion your body's recognizing is that you're sitting down. The hard part is the getting up, right? So that's the hard part. Nobody gets up from a chair and is like, when you sit down, you kind of collapse onto a chair, and that's when you let go of all your muscles. So what I'm going to introduce you is how we can implement exercise so that it can be useful for us, because everyone's going to be different. When you do a squat, you are using, especially if you're just doing it normally, you're using gravity, right? That's your weight. Your weight is how much gravity is pulling you down, 9.8 meters per second squared. You're getting pulled to earth. That is how much you are lifting when you go back up. Okay? Some of us can't lift that, and that's okay. There's a way to do every exercise so that you can focus on the muscle and be able to build it so that you can do it, and it helps you. Okay? So here's one of the easiest ways to implement a squat. Just sit slowly. When you sit down there. Now, I let go here. You can see the muscle change. Ideally, you can be able to stand back up again, and you'll feel it in the right places if you do it correctly. But a lot of us maybe will swing. Maybe we lean forward. Why? We use our back to lift us up. Maybe we use different parts. We use our hand. Whatever we'll do. And this is the part where it's hard to get out of cars. It's hard to be able to lift ourselves with just our legs. Okay? So how can I implement what I'm doing so that it can make sense? Well, there's two parts of an exercise we need to remember. your muscle does two different things. It stretches and it tightens. Okay? Every muscle does this whenever you're doing an exercise. So there's two parts to an exercise, every single one you can think of. So the way that I remember it, the first one is the muscle gets stretched. It gets longer. It gets elongated, right? Elongated, eccentric. That's what it's called. Eccentric movement, right? An eccentric movement for a muscle, it stretches. It gets longer. The other one is the opposite. It crunches. It comes together. It becomes concentric. It gets closer together. It almost turns into a ball, depending on the muscle that you're using. So with a squat, when we're thinking of that, we have to think about, okay, what is my muscle doing? The majority of the time, the squat that you're using is your quad. You'll feel it in other places too. You'll feel it in your butt. You'll feel it in your hamstring. But the main place is your quad. So when you're thinking about your quad, what is it doing when I'm sitting down? When I'm sitting down, it's stretching, right? It's getting longer. Okay? Now, if I'm getting up, it's coming together, right? The getting up, the concentric movement, is almost always harder than the stretching, the eccentric movement. They're both using your muscle. Both of them are using the same muscle to do the same movement, but in different directions. With exercising, when you're doing an exercise, you're activating both sides of that muscle. So if you can't do the standing up, don't. Focus on the sitting and do it slowly so that you're stretching that muscle and you're making sure that that's getting majority of the pressure. So once you sit down, 1. Okay, I'll sit up normally and then I do it slowly. 2. Okay, I get up normally, whatever. I can't get getting up, that's okay. So just do the half that you can do. And what you'll be able to, what you'll recognize over time, suddenly, it's easier to sit down normally. And then what you'll recognize, you'll be able to even start to do 1 getting up. It starts to implement, your muscle starts to build, because you're still building muscle even though you're doing the part of the exercise that it doesn't necessarily feel like you're doing an exercise. Does that make sense? Exactly. Because it's really important to be able to implement that into every type of movement that you can do. There's exercise we can't. Now, there's other ways that you can do it, so that's why I brought other chairs. So let's say I want to do squats correctly. So, well, I don't want to do it sitting down. So I want to do it when I'm doing it normally. So if I do a normal squat, that's how it is. I can't go all the way down. So that's okay. I just go down to here. Just do a partial. Because what you're going to be doing, you're still going to be activating that muscle accordingly. Do it the number of times that I say. You do usually 10 times is what we're trying to shoot for. So if you're doing it in a way that you're still activating that muscle and you feel like it's working, great. You're doing exercise. That's the point. Be consistent with it, because eventually you'll say, this is easy. Okay, great. Turn it around. Let's go lower. Okay, I'll go till there. And I'll stop right there. And that will be the distance that I can go, because that is the amount of movement that I can do right now. Now I can implement that into my exercise and I can keep going. Do that for a few weeks. Great. And then you can go lower. You can get the other chairs. And you can go lower that until you're doing a normal squat. See how that works? When I started pull-ups over 2 years ago, I used to do pole vault in college. Okay, if you've ever seen pole vault before, it's all about doing a pull-up. So I used to do pole vault in college. I would do many of those. Guess how many pull-ups I was doing at the age of 40, 2 years ago, when I started exercising again? How many pull-ups do you think? I wish. 0. I could do no pull-ups at all. How do you do an exercise if I can't do any pull-ups? I couldn't do 1. To let alone just say, okay, I do 1 a day. Can't even do that. So I started with the half that I could do. With a pull-up, that's what this is for, by the way. You put these on a door, you can hang it. This is something nice that you can have in the house. That's the whole idea. So you have it on the door, you have it hanging there. So I go by and I would try to do 1. I can't do 1. So I would jump up, catch myself here, and slowly lower myself. 1. Jump up, slowly lower myself, until I got to 10. It took me about 3 weeks to get to 7, 8, another 3 weeks, so it took me a month and a half that I can do 10 of those. At that point, I tried to do 1. Barely was able to do 1. It took me 6 weeks of doing negative, it's called negative, half that you can do, so that your muscle will begin to learn and strengthen enough that you can be able to do a normal one that your body can handle. Does that make sense? Every exercise can do this. Squats are probably the most important. Push-ups is the same idea. That's what these are for. These give you an easier grip so that you can hold on to when you're doing a push-up. Push-ups the same idea. When you push yourself up all the way, that's where your concentric movement is, right? You're tightening those muscles. The chest, the tricep is what you're doing with a push-up. When you go down all the way, that's when you get a stretch position. So if you're doing that push-up, if you're doing that bottom part, then you're working that muscle in as much as you need to so that you can be able to build it and eventually be able to do more than just one, right? That's the goal. Using gravity. Does that make sense? Every exercise can do this. Every single one. Every exercise has a half that your muscle is stretching and another half that your muscle isn't. Now, there are lots more exercises than the list I gave you. Okay, the list I gave you are the ones that have the easiest and most defined concentric eccentric movements so that you can control this as much as possible. Okay? That's why that list is there. You can go online and you can find lots of different exercises. There's tons. There's many. Lots of people will say, I have the secret to weight loss, or they'll say something along those lines online. You know immediately that this is baloney, but it's still an exercise that you can do. If you're moving, you're stretching, you're moving your muscles, it's great. If that works for you, do it. But these are the ones that I found they have the clearest movement, so if you can't do one, you can do half. And if you do the half, you do that as many times as the exercise number says so you can be able to reach it. Good? Okay. I think I said that enough. So then we have to build the regimen. We have to put this all together. The rest of the pages are that. Let me talk about that briefly, and then we'll finish. So set a goal. Setting goals. How do you set goals? They have to be one of the SMART goals. If you ever learned that, one of the most important ones, the S, specific. Your goal should be specific. Don't say, I want to exercise more. That is not specific, right? I want to exercise 1 hour per week, right? That's a very good goal to set and to be able to put for yourself because that's a great goal to be able to get to. Very reasonable to be able to get there. And be reasonable with the progression. You don't have to just jump immediately to the top level. If you go to the advanced, if you go to that last page, that's what I do. That is my exercise routine every single week. I did not start off with that. I've been doing this for over 2 years, and I built it on top of each other one by one, and I just got there actually a few months ago. Okay, I just started this in June. So you don't just immediately start doing the maximum level. It doesn't make sense. The same for the weight, by the way. If you're a person that maybe in high school, in college, I'm like, no, I used to do a lot more. I know what I can do. And then you're in the gym again. You haven't been there for a decade. Just drop the weight. It's okay. You're not going to impress anybody. Nobody's going to be happy because you were able to lift however much you were able to do in high school or college. Just get it to where you can be comfortable with your weight progression and then build from there. Which is also important about this term. This is a term that gets used a lot. I'm going to be really quick with this. Progressive muscle overload. The idea here is you're constantly improving your muscle load. So I have here 2 pounds. Okay? I can do this, 2 pounds, and let's say I do this for a few weeks. Eventually, it's going to be easy enough. Like this is going to be easier for me. So I could eventually move to, if I'm doing this 10 times, maybe I can move to 5 pounds 6 times. Right? That is progressive muscle. You're pushing your muscle to do more than it used to do. And what you're going to notice, suddenly you're doing that and you're not paying attention anymore. Suddenly you're doing that 10 times. And you're not going to even remember when the switch happened unless you force yourself to make those changes. So keep that in mind, but you don't have to do it all the time. I already talked about rest, making sure we're doing rest. DOMS, this is delayed onset muscle soreness. So if you haven't been to the gym ever, or if you haven't been for a long time, you go and work out. Guess what you're going to get the next day? Your muscles are going to hurt. They're going to be sore. Many days, yes. So my favorite example is when I do legs. My legs day is Wednesday. I do it on Wednesday morning, okay? And I do my legs day, and oh man, I am tired, I'm exhausted. I go home, I go to work, all fine. Next day is Thursday. I do my other exercise. I'm tired, I go to work. And around on Thursdays, my job is I work with kids. Okay, so I'm working with kids. So majority of the kids, I sit on the floor with them. I'm playing games with them, whatever it is. But for whatever reason, Wednesday and Thursday, I don't have many of those kinds of kids. They're older kids, majority of them. So I'm not on the floor. I was talking with them. And the first kid I see that wants to sit on the floor is Thursday at 5:30. I worked out my legs Wednesday morning, 9 o'clock. I sit down on the floor and immediately I can't move. I'm done. So if he asks for another game, I'm like, sorry, buddy, you got to get it for me. I can't get up anymore. That's how delayed my soreness takes for it to kick in. I'm still sore today. It takes 3 days for mine to go. It'll go through Saturday. So if you're sore, that's a good thing. That's okay. That's not pain. There's a difference between soreness and pain. And you'll eventually, hopefully, get that feeling if you start working out more. Soreness is fine. You can work out when you're sore. You can. It's totally fine to do that. Does it hurt? Yeah, it does. I mean, it's going to be hard. It's going to be harder. But it's a really interesting feeling. Just soreness is okay. Okay. And then if you haven't gotten it yet, consistency. How can you set up a schedule that I can keep at it and continue it all the time? Okay? So let's take a look at the routines that I have for you. The routines are divided into 3 sections. The main way that they get divided is number of sets. Okay? A set is a group of times that I'm going to do one exercise. Okay? A set. The number of times I do that in a set is repetitions. Those are 2 words you're going to see a lot. Repetitions and sets. And you're going to see on the right column, it'll say something like 3x5. Okay? What that means, 3 sets of 5 repetitions. Okay? So something like, I think the push-ups on the first basic one I have, push-ups, I have 3 sets of 5, right?
10.
I did 10 on that one? The 5 was the leg one? Okay, that's why I switched it. Okay, so 3 sets of 10. That means 3 times I'm going to do 10 push-ups. Okay, now I already talked about it. I'm like, I can't do any push-ups. That's okay. Do the negative. Just go down slowly. Maybe you're like, I can't even do that. That's okay. Get on your knees. That's fine too. There's lots of ways to do push-ups. Vivian gave another great example. Do wall push-ups. And then eventually go down. Like have it go lower. Do table. Like just adjust it so that you can be able to do it. Just do the number. The goal is just to do the number. Now, if you go on the wall, you do 10 push-ups and you feel nothing, okay, maybe you shouldn't be doing that one. Like, maybe adjust it a little bit there. Maybe do it on a table. Maybe do something else. Maybe do the knees. Knees is a very effective one too. But just get yourself moving so that you feel it. Oh man, you like touch it and it's like, okay, I did something. I did something. That's it. That's the goal. That's all you got to do. You just got to do something and then build on that. So the first one you see is the beginner start. That is 15 minutes per week. I did the exercise, I think it was push-ups and lunges, right? The first day. It takes you 46 seconds to do that set. 10 push-ups, 5 lunges. 46 seconds. You do that 3 times. That's less than 4 minutes, right? Take your breaks. How much of a break? Like 30 seconds to a minute. The break should be as long as you need to be able to do the exercise again. That's it. So if you do the exercise, you take 5-second break, do the exercise again totally, you might need to push the exercise a little bit. You're not getting yourself exhausted enough. Now, I'm not going on the other end. Advanced one, I'll talk about that a little bit. You can really push yourself on that one where, for me, and that's the difficult part for me, my breaks are getting longer. I'm getting too tired, so I need to adjust mine a little bit. But for us right now, if you're starting off, just do what you can do. Take enough of a break that you can be able to get back to it again and do it again. That's it. And then you take, 2 days off, right? Yeah. Tuesday, Wednesday, take a break. Thursday, get back at it. Easy. Everyone can do that. If you don't like push-ups, adjust it accordingly. You have lots of exercises that you can do. On the exercise, I forgot to mention that. On the exercise list, you're going to see a cross and a star next to exercises. The star, it means that I've included the exercise somewhere in the regimen already. So that's something that if that's what you want to do, it's somewhere in there already. The cross, it means that you can do it with minimal equipment. So I can do it at home. I don't want to come to the gym. I don't want to go to I don't want to get a membership. The cross is what you're looking for. I can do basic stuff. You can find basic weights for $10 to $30, depending on how much weight that you're purchasing. You can buy basic equipment like this. I said this is a pull-up bar. You can use this for pull-ups. You can use it for chin-ups. You can use it for other types of exercises. You can put it on the floor and do the same thing here and do push-ups on it. So this kind of stuff is useful for that. This is good for calisthenics, more exercises, but it's also helpful for push-ups. I even got some of these. Like all of these are various things that you can do. Like these are not going to do the same stuff that you normally do, but it's just something that is just doing an exercise, getting some muscle movement going so that you can be able to incorporate some kind of exercise because resistance training helps, and that's what we want to get to. So I would say start at the beginner and then go up to the beginner goal. That's it. And you got the 1 hour a week. Yeah.
Do you need to stretch? Is that a requirement?
Do you need to stretch is the question. Is it a requirement? It is if you need to stretch. It's kind of the idea. But here's the fun thing about resistance training. Okay, yeah, good. There you go. How do you know do you need to stretch? So you can be safe, and the way you can stretch with resistance training, do the exercise with almost no resistance. Because that's going to immediately put your muscle into the type of movement it wants to be in already. So for example, if I'm trying to do bench press, I'm sitting at the bench and I'm doing bench press, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take off all the weights, I have just a little bit of weight, and I'm going to do just the bar. That's it. And I'll do that 10 times. The fun thing about a stretch is that you don't need to really take a rest. So I do 10 of those, put it back, put the weights on, and I can do my exercise immediately. So I would say the bigger muscles, the muscles especially that have compound movements it means multiple muscles are moving at the same time. You want to get stretches in. You want to get a stretch in. You want to get a warm up in. Those are helpful to be able to do. But if we're doing the beginner, if we're just starting off, you're doing some basic stuff, you shouldn't need to stretch that much. Now, on the flip side, if you want to improve your flexibility, you need to stretch. That's just the way it is. You're not going to get flexibility as much by just weightlifting. So it's a separate exercise for that. So that will be definitely necessary. Yeah?
In the beginner's start, all I got was how to do squats. There's other things that we don't know what they're about.
Yes.
The quad, the hamstring, what are we talking about?
Yeah. So ideally you'll have the...
Would have actually shown us.
Yeah, and if you and we have time. I can show them. I can show the other one, so at least we have a starting point. But hopefully by next week, every single one of those exercises will be on video on thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can click on the links and be able to know exactly. But I think we'll go over those just so we all know what to do, so that you can at least go home. Yeah, we'll do that before. Let me grab one so I remember all of them exactly. So I'll remember to do that. Any other questions? I think Vivian, you had them?
So, on Monday where you have push-ups and lunges, and do you suggest alternating, like you do one set of push-ups and then you go to the lunge and then you go back to the push-up, back and forth until you do the 3 sets?
Whatever feels good for you.
Or
It's
do all 3 sets at one time?
Yeah, it's whatever feels good.
Whatever feels good.
Some people, well, the limitation, you have to think about it the way that people exercise, they'll be at the gym, and so it's depending on what's available. I can go here and do this exercise. Oh, there's somebody there. I can't do that exercise right now. The way I set it up, you can do these concurrently. Because when you do a push-up, and that's why I put the body part, it's your chest. When you do lunges, it's your butt. It has nothing to do with your chest. So while you're doing your lunges, your chest is resting. And so then you can immediately go back. Again, we don't have time. We want to be efficient. So this is a very effective way if you're dividing up that way. If you look at the advanced one, I have it set up exactly the same way. All 6, I can go through every single one. The problem is my heart rate goes up to 180, so I have to take a break. So I can't do all 6 of them. But I've set it up in such a way that while one muscle's resting, I'm exercising the next muscle. So if you feel good about it, yeah, doing them one after another is really good, and just get it all done. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm looking at your advances, and I don't see the dragonfly in there.
I don't do abs. I can talk about that another time. Yeah.
Oh, I know you were talking about
Yeah. Oh, yes, you're right. Yeah. So I stopped. Yeah. That is whole different level of advanced.
Your abdomen is getting shredded.
Yeah, it's a
You attempted
that was a Bruce Lee exercise.
lift your leg up, and you
Any other questions? And I can show some of the exercise and finish up. Okay. Okay, so the first one is the push-up. We already talked about that a few times, but again, just to show, very basic, you want to push up. The main part of it is that bottom part. So you're going down and you come up. And the goal is to be able to help the chest, majority of it, but then you'll feel it in your tricep as well. Oh yeah, if you want to do it on the wall, You can, depending on how far away you get from the wall, you're going to put more strain on your muscles. So you can be able to do it from just a comfortable distance, and then you're going to put your arms a little lower. You got to think about where your arms are normally if you're doing a push-up. So you put your arms a little lower, and then be able to push face to the wall. And if you want to not break your nose, turn your face. Every Armenian will break their nose. Oh, the knee one.
We should have just you explaining and Sam showing it. Two people at the same time.
I could, yeah.
I'm just saying, so you're
Yeah.
you're more efficient.
The videos will be.
That's the videos. Yeah, the videos are all that. I have that. So with the knee, so instead of doing on the hands, on the feet, the feet is what you would want to get to. Yeah. You can do it on the floor. It's just easier on the easier to get a stretch. So if you do it on your knees, same idea. You're going all the way down, coming back up. That's it. And the bottom is the part that matters, that stretch.
You guys want to try it?
No, let's go through the exercises.
We could go through it. Yeah, part two is the actual exercise itself. Lunge? Okay, lunges. So lunge. Abo, yeah. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. So hima giragi ardu bekedesem amenes gegenankor megderma in the corner doing lunges. I think that'll be great. Okay, so lunge. The idea of the lunge, you're going to do both sides. So I would say doing, and that's why I did it 5, so that when you're doing it on both sides, you're doing it 10 times altogether. So you're going to do right leg forward first. The idea here, the wider the stretch, you're going to feel a lot more. It's going to hurt a lot more, but you're going to get more of a glute exercise, because what the lunge does, it really targets all this part of your leg at the same time. So the wider back it is, the more it's going to be getting your butt and your hamstring. But it's okay if you're just a little closer for now. What you want to do, you want to be able to have your feet straight ahead. You want to be balanced as much as possible. And then you're going to go down. And your left knee is going to touch the floor. That's it.
Hold on to something.
100%, yeah.
Can you put a chair next to you so they see what that looks like near you?
It should. Let me make a mention about that too. So range of motion, how far you can go with an exercise, is very important, because the more you stretch the muscle, the more efficient you are in building the muscle. So if you're going only here, you're still exercising. It's still working the muscle. But the most effective part, the part that builds the most muscle, is all the way at the bottom. It's that full stretch that you want to get. And that's going to be the most effective. Again, we're not wasting time. So I don't want to do wasted sets. So I'm trying to get enough exercises in so that it's impacting what I'm trying to do. So do a full, it's called range of motion. They also put ROM, a full ROM, full range of motion. So with a lunge, it's this way. And then, of course, you can switch and do both sides. Right? That's the lunge. Is that good for lunge?
Is that for each leg, the 3 sets of 5?
So
Right leg.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's 1 set?
That's one set, yes. Yeah.
Do you touch the floor with the knee, or do you stop like right?
I touch the floor.
Okay.
Yeah, I touch the floor. Good?
It's a little touch.
Yeah, you don't have to like land. And again, remember, we're doing it slowly enough that you should be in control of your body. So if you're slamming down, you're going to feel it. It's not going to feel good. You ideally want to do it slowly. Okay, squats we did. We saw squats, right? Okay, calf raise is also very straightforward. You're going to be just standing, and you're going to be going on your tippy toes. On your tippy toes. Calf raises. On your tippy toes. Some of us, you're going to start to feel that it's not doing much. You can get weights. You can also do one-legged calf raise. So you can do one-legged. That's easier when you're holding on to something. Huh? Yeah. Romanian deadlift is when you stand, you want your hinge to be your waist. Your legs are going to be straight, and you're going to go down as far as you can and come back up. Yeah. Romanian deadlift. And what that works is your hamstring. Back here. You're going to feel it all on the hamstring.
Kick your butt out.
Yeah. Your butt's going out. Yeah. And then you can do it with weight, of course, that you're lifting. Yeah. No. The Romanian deadlift, you don't bend the knees at all because what the focus is focuses on the hamstring. The regular deadlift, you're doing it, and that's more the lower back. Yeah, yeah. Oh.
We have addressed this one before about the heart rate.
Yeah.
So you want to get the heart rate up, right?
Doesn't matter. Yeah, no study I found actually had a clear correlation with proper exercise coming with an increased heart rate. The only ones now, I didn't include aerobic exercises. So if you're doing aerobic work, that's a whole different thing. So I don't do any, if you notice, I don't have any of that in there because the goal is just a basic, can I get an exercise and be done? But yeah, if you want to add that on, if you want to get some cardio, that's a whole different, that's not muscle building anymore. It's a different, you're doing different things for a different goal. Good point, yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
Cardio is good before exercise.
Yeah, you want to do it after. Yeah. Yeah. You want cardio at the end and you want it easy.
Do you need to do it? Or?
You do not need to do it.
Well, what are you
It
going for?
there you go. The goal matters. If you're trying to build muscle, you don't need cardio. The cardio is not going
Trying
to.
to lose weight.
Yes.
cardio.
If you're trying to lose weight, you're burning calories. You're getting your heart rate up. Yeah, that's a different conversation.
Only for muscle?
It's muscle building. Yeah, exercise. You're just resistance training. That's it. Now, understand. Majority of weightlifters say this. These are people that have muscles upon muscles upon muscles. You build muscles in the gym. You show muscles. You reveal muscles in the kitchen. Is the common saying. If you want to lose weight, you have to eat differently. Like I said, that's a different workshop, I think, a different topic completely. But if you want to eat, if you want to lose weight, if you want your fat percentage to drop, you don't have, I'm sure you've seen those commercials like this patch you put on your stomach and you're going to have a six-pack in 3 weeks. Like that stuff doesn't do anything. You don't do targeted fat loss. That doesn't exist. You have to eat differently. You have to eat less. You have to just cut caloric deficit, increase protein, appropriate carbs so that your muscles have energy. Your sugars have to be there. Like you have to eat proper food so that you can be able to show those muscles off that you're building. But right now, this is the bare minimum. It's not even about building muscle to make them really big. It's just about getting exercise in so that you can be able to function properly. Any other?
I would have a comment. A few months ago when Samuel did his presentation, all of a sudden, from nowhere, I was having a problem with my back.
Mm-hmm.
Just picking up a piece of paper from the floor.
During the workshop?
No.
Because of the workshop.
I asked you, what is it? Why am I all of a sudden I can't go to the floor? And then you gave me a few exercises, to do because all of a sudden it happened. All of a sudden, and then I started to do some of those exercises, and then I asked my son-in-law, who's also into exercise, and he told me you got to work on your quads and your core. Your core, which is your stomach muscle, is very important. If that part of you is weak, your whole back is going to be weak. So I started working on those squats and the lunges, which were very difficult. And then all of a sudden, one day, I saw something on the floor. I picked it up, and I thought, oh my God. Because before I would see something, I go, oh my God, if I get on the floor, what else can I pick up?
While I'm down here.
I was like, I'm like, that's supposed to happen after 70.
Right. And that's the whole idea. If we've reduced our behavior so much that we can't just normally bend down. Again, Samuel showed us, you don't bend down like this, right? Yeah. You bend with the knees. So if you can't do this, well then, it's going to be hard to do a lot of other things, and because that's part of it. So, 100%. Thank you for that. That's great. Great proof. Anything else?
Push-up,
Yeah.
What's the pull-up?
Pull-up is this.
Pull-up.
Yeah. It's harder to do that. So the reason I brought these up, these equipment, it's like the equipment is very basic things you can have so that you can be able to use them at home. But the church has a gym. We have a gym here. So I want to encourage us that, look, downstairs we've been collecting. We've had majority of it donated. The joke we're making is you got to be a member of our church, and that's how you can come. I will have a waiver that you have to fill out. I want to make sure that the church is safe by you working out here. But we have everything. The other thing also, the exercises I put, every single one of those exercises can be done in here. So that's the other key about the list of exercises. So none of these exercises, you should come to the gym and be like, I don't know where to do it. I don't know how to do it. That's fine. We'll get the website soon. And then those are the times I am here. If you want to come when I'm here, I will be happy to guide you. I will be happy to help you. If whatever you want to do, basic exercise, you want to implement that. And you know what? Maybe one day we get to a point where we have a lot more time slots filled, where there's a few more people that are coming and we just have someone available, especially someone that knows what to do and can kind of assist you. But we have that here. And again, I preach this all the time. In as much as it's important to take care of your mind, your health, your body is up there with everything else. As Christians, the body is your temple, right? We preach it all the time. Don't smoke, don't drink. That's fine. That's great. But take care of it. Exercise. And we have a system that we can be able to do that. So take advantage of that system.
Are you saying that you're there 9 to 12 or that the gym is open 9 to 12?
Well, both, because I'm there, the gym is open.
Okay, but on Wednesday and Thursday it's not open?
It's technically, like, I'm still there, because I work out all 6 days. But because I have work and I have to leave early sometimes, I come late sometimes. Because of that, I don't want to set a time that I'm here. But Monday, Tuesday, Friday, I am here. And those are consistent times that I can be available unless something happens. And we can figure out a way to report that. 아시가 투린 브라게트네스. 투르.
Tur like Honda, asam tur getirdiniz.
매체.
And pull-ups and push-ups.
Yeah, you can use it for a lot of other things too. 예바상 가카시스. Very good kashas. Things are good. Gamasang. Very good kashas. Yeah. Yeah. Volker avli guzaskar.
Asom giden,
Yeah.
aso,
Yeah.
asak giden, mek, yergu, yerek, çors.
Ha.
Verçe asak giden,
Okay.
asak giden,
Okay. Good.
yes ulim askis.
Shadlov. Yeah. Yeah. So shad turin and Allah. So. Yeah. Honga. Okay. All good? Okay. Hartsum Gana, if you have questions, please let me know. Like I said, I've been reading about this, I've been researching it, I've been living it. So it's very important to me. I would love to help you. I see no problem why not all of us can do the basics that we talked about. So no problem, of course. Yeah, you can also get a deeper stretch.
John, while I'm job hunting, I was going to ask, do you mind if I text you up like Mondays and you come Mondays and Tuesdays?
Monday, I'm here every day
So, like in the morning?
in the morning,
I was
downstairs.
wondering if you wanted to work out together.
Of course, if you're here, yeah, 100%.
It was every day?
I'm here every day, yeah. There are sometimes, like today I skipped because I had work. But yeah, 9 to 12 on Monday, Tuesday, Friday. I'm going to try to be here consistently the entire time.
A part of me is kind of hesitant.